Life is full of trials, loss, failure, uncertainty. But what if, instead of resisting hardship, you embraced it? The Stoics believed that every obstacle is an opportunity, every setback a lesson. They called it Amor Fati, the love of fate. Accept everything, use everything, rise above everything. In this video, we'll explore 10 timeless Stoic lessons to help you navigate life's toughest moments with wisdom, strength, and unshakable resolve. Let's begin. Have you ever felt like life throws obstacles at you that seem insurmountable? Have you ever been consumed by a sense of hopelessness, wondering how to push forward? It's precisely in these moments that we must tap into our inner strength. But what if I told you there's a way not just to endure life's hardest blows, but to embrace them, transforming them into powerful opportunities for growth? In this video, I'll walk you through 10 of the most profound Stoic lessons, principles that have helped countless individuals find resilience and serenity in life's most turbulent storms. These aren't mystical, quick fixes. They are time-tested teachings deeply rooted in the philosophy of Amor Fati, the love of fate. By applying them, you will learn to reframe challenges as stepping stones towards strength, purpose, and wisdom. Are you ready to face adversity with clarity and courage? Let's begin. Embrace your fate. Have you ever felt trapped in a situation with no way out? Those moments when everything you worked for unravels, leaving you drowning in despair. It feels like being caught in an overwhelming current. But what if instead of fighting against it, you allowed it to carry you? To embrace your fate means to accept every hardship, every setback, as part of a greater journey. Picture being pulled beneath a wave. If you struggle, you exhaust yourself. But if you surrender to its flow, you discover it can actually help you rise. But how do we learn to move with life's tides rather than against them? Through the Stoic principle of Amor Fati. You might wonder, what does Amor Fati truly mean? Seneca put it best. Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling. When we move with life rather than resist it, we uncover an immense reservoir of strength. Resistance breeds frustration, but acceptance unlocks growth. Stoicism isn't just about tolerating life's hardships. It's about embracing every experience, even the painful ones, as essential pieces of our journey. The Stoics understood that life isn't just a collection of joyous moments. Struggle and adversity are woven into the fabric of existence. To resist the inevitable is to forfeit the chance to evolve. By embracing fate, they didn't just endure hardship, they used it as fuel to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Instead of complaining, they saw every challenge as a lesson. Modern psychology echoes this ancient wisdom. Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett explains that our perception of events shapes our emotional responses. If we view failure as the end, it crushes us. But if we see it as a lesson, we grow, and we don't have to do it alone. Having a strong support network can be a cornerstone of adopting a Stoic mindset. Imagine losing your job. The initial shock is devastating. Your carefully laid plans feel like they're collapsing. But what if instead of despairing, you chose to see this as a new beginning? Fear and frustration consume you. Your mind races with a single haunting question: what am I going to do now? It feels as if life has turned against you, stripping away your sense of control. With each passing day, anxiety tightens its grip, pulling you further into despair. You cling to resentment, resisting reality, unwilling to accept what has happened. But that resistance only deepens your suffering. What if instead of fighting the inevitable, you embraced it? What if this apparent ending was actually the beginning of something new? A chance to reinvent yourself, to explore the paths you've always postponed, to break free from the weight of what if and instead see your situation as a lesson, one that will forge you into a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. How can you start applying this mindset to your life? First, surround yourself with people who uplift you, those who help you see the light when you're lost in darkness. The people you choose to be around have a profound impact on how you navigate hardship. Seek out friends, family, or mentors who encourage you to see setbacks as stepping stones rather than dead ends. Instead of letting you sink into despair, they offer fresh perspectives you might have missed. Sometimes all it takes is one person to remind you that, even in your lowest moments, there is something valuable to be gained. Next, practice active acceptance. Stop resisting what you cannot change and start finding meaning in every experience. The next time you face adversity, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Understand that accepting reality is not the same as giving up. It means redirecting the energy you waste on resistance and channeling it toward what you can control. When life hits you, don't fight it, move with it. Because within that flow, you'll discover the true strength to rise again. Acceptance without surrender. Surely you've faced moments where you've thought, "Why is this happening to me?" It's in those times that frustration takes hold, pushing you to resist. You struggle against reality as if you could change the wind by sheer force of will. But is that what a Stoic would do? The Stoics taught us something different. True acceptance is not weakness, it is liberation. It doesn't mean passively drifting through life. Rather, it means choosing where to direct your energy. By accepting what we cannot change, we stop wasting effort on the impossible and focus instead on what's within our power. As Epictetus once said, "You may not be able to control events, but you can always control how you respond to them." Acceptance is not inaction, it is the foundation of wise action. Instead of asking, "Why me?" a Stoic asks, "How can I grow from this?" A perfect modern example of this philosophy is Terry Crews, the actor and former professional athlete. He faced countless obstacles, poverty, rejection, and career setbacks. But instead of seeing those struggles as reasons to quit, he embraced them as fuel for growth. Crews grew up in a household marked by abuse, a reality that deeply shaped his self-esteem. After leaving football, he grappled with financial hardships, struggling to find his footing. His early acting career was no easier. Rejection after rejection, years of instability. But did he give up? Not a chance. He embraced these challenges as an essential part of his journey. Crews openly shares how accepting adversity shifted his focus toward what he could control, his effort and attitude. From that foundation, he rebuilt his career from the ground up, treating every setback as an opportunity for growth. Now, picture this. It's the year 80 AD, and you find yourself in a bustling Roman tavern. Across the room sits Epictetus, preparing to leave for an important philosophical gathering. Suddenly, bad luck. His carriage breaks down. Does he curse the heavens? Rage at the gods? No. He merely shrugs, takes a measured sip of his drink, and asks himself, "What can I learn from this?" Perhaps he takes the moment to refine his next teaching or engage in meaningful conversation with fellow travelers. That was his way, turning every obstacle into a lesson. Now, put yourself in his place. How would you react? Would frustration take over, or would you see the moment as an opportunity? How can we apply this wisdom to our daily lives? First, stop resisting problems, accept them as they come. This doesn't mean approving of misfortune, but rather freeing your mind to focus on solutions instead of wasting energy on denial. Second, remember that no hardship lasts forever. When we recognize that struggles are temporary, we can face them with greater calm and clarity. Third, make daily reflection a habit. At the end of each day, ask yourself, how did I handle today's challenges? What could I have done better? This simple practice will sharpen your resilience and refine your approach to adversity. So, the next time life throws obstacles in your path, remember, acceptance isn't surrender. It's the mindset that empowers you to push forward with strength and purpose. This Stoic lesson won't just help you endure hardships, it will transform them into stepping stones for wisdom and resilience. Before we dive into the next lesson, I'd love to hear from you. Share a moment in your life where you could apply this mindset. Let's learn and grow together. Type Stoic at heart to join the community. Together, we'll transform this space into a hub for shared growth. And don't forget, like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss more inspiring content. Your support means everything and helps keep this message alive. We've all felt it, that crushing weight of failure, like a massive boulder pinning us down, making us feel too weak to continue. It's a natural reaction, isn't it? That overwhelming sense of collapse, the fear that there's no way forward. But what if that boulder, the very thing blocking our path, could become the foundation for something stronger? The Stoics saw failure not as an end, but as a hidden opportunity. Instead of sinking into despair, they dissected every setback, searching for lessons that would make them stronger. Marcus Aurelius put it best: "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every mistake, every obstacle, was a chance to sharpen their skills and fortify their minds. They focused only on what was within their control, their attitude and their actions. Psychologist Adam Grant supports this mindset. His research shows that those who treat failure as a starting point, not a dead end, recover faster and emerge stronger. He argues that it's not failure itself that defines us, but rather how we choose to interpret it. Like the Stoics, he encourages us to analyze every setback, extract the lessons, and apply them moving forward. This approach has changed lives, including that of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Before she became a billionaire, Blakely had dreams of becoming a lawyer. But after repeatedly failing the law school entrance exam, she was forced to reevaluate her path. At first, the disappointment weighed heavily on her. Yet, instead of letting it break her, she embraced a new direction, one that would revolutionize women's fashion. How did she develop this mindset? Her father played a crucial role. He taught her to celebrate failure, to see every mistake as a lesson rather than a defeat. Thanks to this perspective, she faced early rejections in her business with unwavering determination. And the result? Spanx became a global empire. So how can you start turning failures into triumphs? Turning failure into growth. When failure strikes, pause for a moment. Instead of reacting with frustration, take a deep breath and reflect. Grab a piece of paper and break it down. What went wrong, and why did it happen? Then ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Writing it out shifts your perspective, allowing you to analyze the situation more objectively and uncover areas for improvement. Make this a habit whenever you encounter an obstacle. But remember, failure isn't a verdict, it's a lesson. Don't punish yourself for falling short. Everyone fails. It doesn't define you. Instead of dwelling on disappointment, acknowledge the effort you put in. Reward yourself for stepping outside your comfort zone, even if the outcome wasn't perfect. Whether it's taking a break, talking to a trusted friend, or indulging in something you enjoy, find a way to appreciate your resilience. The real measure of success isn't avoiding failure, it's how you rise after each fall. Every setback marks progress, and that progress is worth celebrating. Once you've identified the lesson in your failure, take concrete steps to apply it. Maybe you need to refine your approach, prepare more thoroughly, or completely rethink your strategy. The key is not to dwell on what went wrong, but to use that experience as a stepping stone. Create a simple action plan and commit to moving forward. No matter how many times you stumble, what truly defines you is how you rise. If you can reframe failure as fuel for growth, no obstacle will be insurmountable. You have the power to turn every mistake into a victory. So the next time you fall, remind yourself, it's not the end. It's the beginning of something even greater. Mastering career challenges work can be deeply fulfilling, but it can also be a source of stress. How often do you feel like workplace challenges are piling up with no clear solution? From conflicts with colleagues to stalled projects, professional setbacks can shake our confidence. But shifting your mindset can change everything. The Stoics believed that overcoming obstacles wasn't about luck, it was about perspective. Marcus Aurelius, who governed the vast Roman Empire, faced pressures far beyond ours. Yet he famously said, "Life is neither good nor bad, but merely a stage for good and evil." What does this mean? It means that workplace struggles themselves aren't the real issue. It's how we react to them that matters. The Stoics mastered the art of separating what they could control from what they couldn't. Instead of letting difficulties consume them, they focused on their response. Howard Schultz, former CEO of Starbucks, embraced the same philosophy. His journey was filled with both personal and professional obstacles, yet his ability to maintain perspective allowed him to push forward. When work feels overwhelming, remember, challenges don't define you. Your response to them does. Adopt the mindset of resilience, and every setback will become a stepping stone to something greater. He grew up in poverty, facing significant economic hardships that impacted him from a young age. When he decided to pursue his vision of transforming Starbucks into more than just a coffee shop, he encountered rejection after rejection from investors who didn't believe in his idea. Can you imagine how frustrating that must have been? However, instead of giving up, Schultz embraced the mindset that every no was just an opportunity to refine his approach and improve his pitch. He accepted the obstacles and turned them into the driving force behind his success, using challenges as a catalyst for innovation. Ultimately, his perseverance led to Starbucks becoming a global giant, demonstrating that the key to overcoming challenges isn't to avoid them, but to face them with clarity and focus, just as the Stoics always advised. Let me share something personal. Some time ago, I embarked on a project that I had put a lot of hope and effort into. I fully trusted a close person to manage an important part of the business. However, due to poor decisions, that person nearly led me to bankruptcy. The stress and feeling of betrayal were enormous. I could have succumbed to frustration and given up, but I decided to apply the Stoic principles that had helped me before. I accepted the situation, no matter how painful it was. I focused on what was within my control, reorganizing the project, taking charge of decisions, and learning from that significant mistake. It was one of the toughest experiences I've faced, but it also taught me to never rely blindly on someone else and to be more resilient. This process not only saved my business, but also helped me grow personally. If you're wondering how to apply this in your life, here are 2 steps to make it easier. First, when facing a workplace challenge, identify what you can and cannot control. Ask yourself, what can I change, and what do I need to accept? Focusing on what you can control will enable you to make more effective decisions. Second, don't get stuck in the problem. Take action. Eliminate the temptation to postpone solutions. Create a plan and move forward with small daily actions. Remember, even the smallest steps bring you closer to resolving the challenge. Keep in mind, obstacles aren't barriers. They're the training ground that strengthens us for what's to come. By mastering workplace challenges with a Stoic mindset, you'll see how you can overcome the toughest moments and emerge stronger. 5. Break free from stress. Stress is like a rope that binds us, tightening with every attempt to break free. The more we try to liberate ourselves, the tighter it pulls. It suffocates us, robbing us of peace and mental clarity. It's a burden we carry every day, at work, at home, in our thoughts. It's simply exhausting, isn't it? Picture this: you have one of those days when everything starts to go wrong. You wake up late, rush to the station, and just as you arrive, you see the train pulling away. Frustration takes over, and you begin to think of all the consequences of being late to work. Stress starts to build up. You feel powerless, and it seems the day is destined for disaster. Can you imagine Epictetus dealing with a situation like this? He might say something like, "I've been a slave, lived with one foot in adversity." What is missing a train compared to that? For Epictetus, stress was just another test among the many life throws at us. His secret was not allowing what he couldn't control to affect him. As he himself said, it's not things that disturb us, but our opinion of them. If we change the way we view what stresses us, we can release that internal tension. Stoics practiced emotional control by accepting what they couldn't change and focusing on what was under their control. Marcos Vazquez, in his podcast, discusses how stress isn't necessarily the enemy. In fact, it can become a tool for personal growth, as long as we learn to view it from a different perspective. What is that perspective? We can see it as a signal that we need to adjust our expectations or change something in our lives. Thus, it becomes an opportunity for improvement. What keys does Vazquez offer us for managing stress? He emphasizes that regular exercise, proper rest, and maintaining a tribe or support network are essential for reducing the negative effects of stress. Now, my friend, I ask you to reflect. Are you using that stress to grow, or is it consuming you? If your answer is that it's consuming you, it's time to take action. First, start your day with a simple meditation. Dedicate a few minutes each morning to meditate before the day begins. This Stoic practice will help center your mind, anticipate potential challenges, and prepare a calmer response. Sit in silence, breathe deeply, and visualize the day ahead. By practicing this meditation, you'll be better equipped to face stress from the moment your day starts. Second, connect with nature. The Stoics believed in harmony with nature, and being in contact with it can be a powerful stress reliever. Take a walk outdoors, in a park, or anywhere with greenery. As you walk, breathe deeply and focus your senses on your surroundings. The sounds, the smells, the feel of the air. This simple exercise will help clear your mind and reduce anxiety. Third, practice emotional detachment. This doesn't mean you shouldn't feel, but rather that you shouldn't let negative emotions drag you down. When something stresses you, take a moment to ask yourself, is this stress helping or worsening the situation? By distancing yourself from the emotion, you'll be able to manage it more rationally. Whenever you feel an intense emotional reaction, breathe and repeat this exercise. Over time, it will become easier. By applying these principles, you can release that rope that binds you and regain control of your mental well-being. So the next time you feel stress taking over, ask yourself, what would Epictetus do in this situation? 6. Strengthen your resilience. Imagine life as a turbulent river. Some people sink when the waters get rough, while others manage to stay afloat and move forward. Resilience is that ability that allows us not only to endure, but also to keep going when everything seems to be against us. The good news is that we Stoics did by facing each challenge as an opportunity to grow. Resilience is the key to overcoming life's toughest moments. For the Stoics, being resilient didn't just mean enduring pain. It meant embracing those challenges as an inevitable part of fate. Every difficulty is an opportunity to grow and strengthen ourselves. The Stoics teach us to use our darkest moments to discover our true strength. When we face adversity with resilience, we transform pain into learning and obstacles into opportunities for progress. As Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. Resilience is precisely that ability to see obstacles not as breaks, but as the drive we need to move forward. If you feel like you are not resilient enough, or that it's hard to get back up after each blow, don't worry. Resilience isn't something we're born with. It's a skill that we can all develop little by little. Psychologist Amy Morin demonstrates this in her book, 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. You don't need to be invincible from the start. Morin advises that to become more resilient, we must trust in our abilities, surround ourselves with supportive people, and learn to adapt to changes. Each challenge you overcome makes you stronger, and over time you'll see that obstacles no longer hold you back. They propel you forward. Imagine facing a crisis with a close family member. Perhaps you've had a heated argument with a parent or sibling, and the words exchanged have left a deep mark. The relationship, once close, is now tense and filled with resentment. The stress and emotional pain are evident, making you feel as if there's no turning back. Situations like these truly shake us, don't they? It's precisely in these moments that Stoic resilience comes into play. Instead of reacting with more anger or letting resentment grow, the Stoics encourage us to step back, breathe, and ask ourselves, what is under my control in this situation? While you may not be able to change what your family members said or did, you can control your reaction. You can choose reconciliation, offer an apology, or let go of the grudge. This approach not only strengthens the relationship, but also empowers you as you choose to master your emotions rather than let them control you. How can you strengthen your resilience? First, accept that change is a part of life. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable, and accepting uncertainty helps us adapt better, face changes as opportunities for growth. Second, develop a support network. Surround yourself with people who motivate you to keep moving forward, even when everything seems to go wrong. Resilience is fortified when we know we're not alone. Third, maintain an optimistic yet realistic mindset. Don't ignore problems, but remember that each one has a solution. The key is to hold on to hope while actively working to resolve them. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen yourself, not to defeat you. By applying Stoic teachings, you will not only overcome life's toughest moments, but also learn to see obstacles as the springboard to your best self. Don't forget, within you lies a strength you may not even know exists, and every difficulty is an opportunity to discover it. 7. The power of patience. Patience holds a power that we often underestimate, especially during life's toughest moments. We expect things to happen quickly, that problems will be resolved immediately. But the reality is that in many cases, the significant changes and outcomes we desire take time. Patience allows us to accept that there is a time for everything, and that not everything is under our control. Sometimes the only thing we can do is trust the process and fate. Although we may not always understand it in the moment, patience will lead us where we need to be. For the Stoics, patience was the art of accepting what we cannot control and trusting that, in time, everything will fall into place. Seneca taught us to remain calm and avoid impulsive reactions when facing difficulties. How did he achieve this? Through patience. He teaches us that when problems arise, the best course of action is to breathe and wait calmly, allowing reason to take the reins. Applying this lesson in our daily lives can help us make better decisions and grow stronger with each challenge we face. If you were climbing a mountain, would you want to reach the top immediately, or would you understand that it takes time? From the base, the summit may seem unreachable, and every step you take might feel insignificant. Yet it's precisely in that process where patience plays its most crucial role. Instead of getting frustrated for not being closer to your goal, focus on each step, each effort, knowing that every one of them brings you a bit closer to the top. Simon Sinek, author of Start with Why, insists that great achievements require time and patience. He often cites Nelson Mandela as an example of patience. During his 27 years in prison, Mandela not only cultivated patience but also used it as a tool to maintain his clear vision. He knew that his fight for justice wouldn't be resolved quickly, but that didn't make him give up. Instead of rushing or becoming desperate, he stood firm, step by step, trusting that the right moment would come. Now imagine this scenario. You lose your job and urgently need to find another one. In this desperate situation, you start sending your resume for every job offer you see, but the responses don't seem to come. It's a tough moment, isn't it? So how can you develop patience in such a time? First, practice mindful breathing. When you feel impatience creeping in, take a pause and breathe deeply. Inhaling and exhaling slowly will help calm your mind and prevent impulsive reactions. Second, while you wait for those responses, use that time to develop new skills. What can you learn during this period that will help you be better prepared? Perhaps improving your English, learning a new technological tool, or enhancing your competencies. Sometimes moments of waiting offer us the opportunity to prepare for something even better. Who knows? It might lead you to a job better than you initially expected. Finally, break away from the idea of instant gratification. We know you want results now, but learning to wait and work calmly will give you immense strength. Ask yourself, what long-term benefit might I gain if I stop seeking immediate results and focus on building something lasting? Patience is one of the most powerful tools we can cultivate to overcome life's toughest moments. So when you face challenges that seem unsolvable, remember this: each moment of waiting is making you stronger, more resilient. With every step you take without rushing, you are building a firmer version of yourself, capable of facing any adversity. 8. Master your emotions. Let me share something personal. Some time ago, during a family gathering, a close relative started making negative comments about me. They said things that they knew bothered me, such as, "You always think you're better than everyone else," or "You never have time for family, you only think of yourself." At first, I tried to remain calm, but gradually frustration and anger built up. Before I knew it, I responded by raising my voice, creating an uncomfortable scene for everyone. I lost control. After reflecting on the incident, I realized that I had allowed someone else's words to control my emotions and actions. It was then that, through Stoicism, I understood the importance of staying calm even in the tensest moments. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What did I learn from this? I realized that although I couldn't control what my relative said or did, I always had control over how I chose to respond. That was the true shift. Mastering my emotions helped me face the toughest moments with a clearer and more serene mindset. Where before, I only saw chaos. Have you ever wondered why sometimes a small situation can make us emotionally explode, while at other times we can remain calm? Psychologist Maya Ten Brink offers a clear perspective on this. She explains that our emotions aren't just automatic reactions. They actually go through 4 stages, and at each one, we have the opportunity to change our course. It all starts with the situation. Something happens that triggers an emotion in us. It could be a comment from a relative or a situation at work. Next, we move to focusing our attention. Here is where things get interesting. What do you concentrate on? What bothers you, or how you can resolve it? This stage is crucial because if we choose poorly, our emotions can escalate. After that comes interpretation, how we perceive what has happened. Here we can give a new perspective to what we're feeling. Finally, we arrive at our reaction. By this point, we've gone through the previous stages and have the option to respond calmly or let our emotions dominate us. So how can we master our emotions? The key, according to Ten Brink, is to pause at each stage and consciously choose how we want to move forward. First, recognize the situation. When you feel an intense emotion arising, stop and observe what's happening around you. Don't rush. Identifying the situation is key to understanding why you feel what you feel. Second, consciously focus your attention. Instead of concentrating on what bothers or frustrates you, consciously decide where you want to focus. Ask yourself, what's most important right now? Or, what can I focus on to move forward and not get stuck in this emotion? Third, interpret what's happening from a new perspective. Changing how you interpret events can completely transform your emotional response. Instead of viewing adversity as an attack, see it as an opportunity to practice patience or calm. Finally, choose how to react. Here's the key. At each of these stages, you have the opportunity to pause and decide. How to proceed. You can let your emotions take over, or you can choose to act from a place of serenity. The choice is always in your hands. Mastering our emotions is crucial for overcoming life's toughest moments. Now I ask you, in what situations have you allowed your emotions to dominate you? Share your experiences in the comments, and together we can learn to manage those moments better. 9. Choose your attitude. Life is like navigating a ship during a storm. The waves crash hard and the storm seems endless. You can't stop the storm, but you can choose whether to sink into despair or keep the helm steady with the hope of moving forward. The difference lies not in what happens to you, but in how you choose to face it. You can let the storm overwhelm you, or you can use it as an opportunity to demonstrate your strength. It's in these moments that a mindset of resilience becomes your greatest ally. Attitude is the driving force that pushes us to move forward, even when things seem to be against us. By choosing a mindset of perseverance, we decide not to give in to difficulties. It's a daily decision, a choice that allows us to transform suffering into growth and chaos, into an opportunity for learning. For the Stoics, true freedom lies in one choice, the attitude we decide to adopt in any situation. Marcus Aurelius reflected in his meditations that we can always decide how to interpret and react to events, so why let difficulties overpower us? If we choose to see each challenge as an opportunity for growth, don't we become stronger? This choice, to maintain a firm and positive attitude, enables us to overcome life's toughest moments with dignity and strength. What if, instead of resisting, we embraced each challenge with the right attitude? Nick Vujicic is a living example of how attitude changes everything. Imagine being born without arms or legs and facing the world under those conditions. How would you react? Many might give up, but Nick chose to adopt a mindset of perseverance from a young age. Instead of focusing on what he couldn't do, he concentrated on what he could achieve. He started with small things, learning to move, handling devices, and above all, cultivating a mindset of strength. Over time, he became a motivational speaker who has inspired millions with his message. Vujicic didn't just accept his physical limitations, he transformed them into a platform to demonstrate that attitude is everything. His motto, "It doesn't matter the circumstances, what matters is how you face them," reflects precisely how he has achieved what many deemed impossible. Today, he travels the world sharing his story, showing that a positive attitude can turn the darkest situations into opportunities for growth and empowerment. Nick chose not to give up, and that decision has made him a beacon of personal triumph. If you're wondering how to apply this in your life, here are some tips. First, focus on what you can control today. It's easy to get caught up in what we can't change or the limitations we face. But what truly makes a difference is channeling all your energy into the actions within your reach. Ask yourself, what small step can I take today to move forward? no matter how big or small. What matters is that you keep progressing. Second, practice gratitude even in tough times. When you face a challenge, take a moment to reflect. What can I be grateful for in this situation? By shifting your focus to the positive, you strengthen your mindset and prepare yourself better to overcome obstacles. Like Nick, when you adopt a grateful attitude, you'll find it easier to discover solutions and remain steadfast, even when things get tough. Remember, the attitude you choose today will shape how you face the hardest moments of your life. It's not about changing what you can't control, but about deciding with what mindset you will confront the challenges ahead. Your attitude is your greatest ally. It can propel you forward or stop you dead in your tracks. So when faced with adversity, ask yourself, will I let this situation defeat me, or will I choose to overcome it? The helm is in your hands. And with every decision you make, you are building your resilience and strength for the future. Now, my friend, let me tell you something. There's one last key that will not only help you overcome tough times, but can completely change how you face life. Are you ready to discover it? 10. Live with Amor Fati. We all face challenges and situations beyond our control. Sometimes life seems filled with moments we wouldn't choose to experience. But what if, instead of resisting, we decided to embrace them with a total acceptance attitude? Living with Amor Fati means loving and accepting everything life presents, including difficulties. It's about viewing challenging experiences not as obstacles to endure, but as opportunities to grow, learn, and strengthen ourselves. But don't get it wrong, it doesn't mean giving up. On the contrary, the Stoics practice this concept to transform every challenge into an opportunity. Amor Fati invites us to free ourselves from resistance and to see that every situation, even the toughest ones, has a purpose in our journey. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This teaches us to view fate not as something imposed, but as an essential part of our lives. Accepting fate is a powerful tool for overcoming life's toughest moments. We know what the Stoics told us. Although we can't control external events, we can choose how we interpret them. By adopting Amor Fati, we not only stop fighting against what happens to us, but also find a source of strength in every challenge. What if, instead of seeing difficulties as failures, you viewed them as an essential part of your story? This liberates you from complaints and allows you to act from a place of calm and acceptance. Author Oliver Burkeman, in The Antidote, Happiness for People Who Can't Stand Positive Thinking, offers a refreshing perspective on Amor Fati. Instead of avoiding pain or chasing relentless success, he invites us to accept all experiences, both good and bad. Burkeman explains how many people, in trying to avoid failure, end up trapped in stress and anxiety. What should we do instead? He suggests embracing those uncomfortable experiences. This approach liberates us and allows us to find deeper peace. Accepting that failure is an essential part of the growth process. Imagine this scenario. You're at the peak of your career, striving every day to achieve the success you've always dreamed of. However, in the process, you begin to miss important moments with your family, and stress has become part of your daily life. You try to control every little detail at work, seeking perfection in everything. Yet that constant struggle to have everything under control wears you down. What if, instead of resisting, you chose to accept those difficulties as part of your journey, learning to live with what you cannot change? How can you start living with Amor Fati? First, create a wall of acceptance in your personal space, where you place images and phrases that represent the experiences you've lived and decided to accept. This will serve as a visual reminder that every part of your story has value. Second, perform a farewell ritual whenever you face a significant change. Take a moment to reflect on what you're leaving behind and what you're carrying with you. Third, choose a mantra of Amor Fati to repeat during difficult moments, such as, "Everything that comes is what I need." This will help reprogram your mind to accept reality. Fourth, engage in activities that challenge your comfort zone. By experiencing new things, you'll learn to accept the unexpected and find joy in the unknown. Finally, practice meditation on fate. Sit in silence and reflect on what has happened in your life, accepting each event as part of your personal journey. Adopting Amor Fati will change your perspective on life. It's no longer about avoiding problems, but about accepting them as a necessary part of your growth. When you embrace this philosophy, difficult moments are no longer barriers. They become steps on your path toward a fuller and more resilient life. I invite you to embrace every experience in your life. Each moment, whether positive or negative, is an opportunity to learn and grow. May the difficulties you face become occasions for reflection and a chance to discover your inner strength. Remember, what happens to you does not define who you are, but how you choose to react to it does. By adopting this mindset, you'll find that each challenge empowers you and prepares you for a fuller, more meaningful life. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "I embrace every experience." That way I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a like so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I also invite you to check out our playlist, which you'll see on the screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep moving forward together. Until next time, take care and keep embracing your inner Stoic.